Welcome to the Connected Enterprise Podcast. This is Carl Lewis, your guest from Vision33. And my guest today is Tiffany Boyd from Vendavo. Tiffany, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much. I'm really excited to be here and to talk to you today.
Yeah, that'd be great. Tell us a little bit about yourself and Vendavo, your journey to there and what you're doing these days.
Yes, again, my name is Tiffany Boyd. I'm currently the Chief of Staff for Vendavo Incorporated. I was born and raised in project management and technology. I actually started my career off working in a network operations center, if you can believe that, and then running downtimes across multiple companies, running multi-level, multi-million projects for companies such as taking down data centers, relocating software and hardware. So I pride myself in that. I am an alum of Winston-Salem State University with a degree in computer science and a minor in mathematics. I am a mother of one, and I love to travel, so that's a little bit about me. And my journey to Vendavo started off as their business process manager and then built into their business intelligence director, and here I am.
Oh, good. Well, we're glad you took some time to join us today. So tell us, how large a workforce does Vendavo have today?
So they are just shy of 500 employees across the US and in our neighboring European region.
And so they're scattered all over the country and the world these days. So
that's correct.
So when the pandemic occurred, a lot of companies were somewhat prepared for, remote work and things like that. But I'm imagining that it wasn't a huge challenge for Vendavo to kind of switch to that methodology. Probably was doing a little bit of it anyway, right?
That's correct. Yes. While we have a corporate office in Denver, Colorado, we also have a headquarters in Dallas, and we also have presence in our Czech and Sweden offices. We do have employees all over the globe, and we do pride ourselves in that way and work efficiently in that way. I could tell you that right now, Vendavo, one of the reasons that I joined Vendavo was because of the people. Very specialized in what they do, and they're all over the world. And it's really neat to connect and build with folks from different regions with different experiences and bring that together for a unique work experience. So when the pandemic happened, it was a natural fit for us.
How did the way you were doing things change at all? I mean, you were probably using some remote meeting tools ahead of time, but did it change? Did you modify, or did you just sort of expand the use of what you were already doing when the pandemic sort of made us all go scattering away into our little mouse houses?
Yeah, exactly. Yes, I think Vendavo was doing a great job at where we keep our documentation repository, the tools that we use for engineering. What I think it did was give us insights into what are the tools that are really going to make us effective and keep us connected while we're housed in our cocoons, if you will, and make us feel as though we were still building relationships with each other and our customers. So if anything, it was consolidation. How can we get everybody to work on the same tool? How do we optimize that? How can we put plugins on it to make things better for us? So Jira plugins, using things like Miro, a virtual whiteboard has helped us, making sure that we have Zoom and we could see the entire room, and having those tools available for all employees and for our meetings was very helpful. And we were able to do it fairly fast.
Yes, I would imagine so. I think many companies kind of in the overall IT world were prepared. It was, a lot of the distributors, manufacturers, and others who weren't really there yet because they were so focused on on-premises operations and everything was there. So it was a lot harder. However, even those companies, like yours, like mine, where we were prepared from a technology perspective and got better at working remote in the process, our people still struggled to a degree to become comfortable. Sure. Did you find that, certain staff people or certain sort of subsets of staff people had a harder time with the whole remote experience?
Yeah, I think, like I said, with Vendavo, the people are really special, and take on their onus of their functional area. And one of the things that we do very well is connect and relationship build in person. So like when we have big meetings, or we're doing some brainstorming or try to problem solve, we come together as a unit. And so that made it really hard for me. In my job, I build my career off of relationship building, and so that's really important. And that's sitting across from somebody, getting the verbal and nonverbal, the things that you can't really pick up on camera, and having that connectedness. That was a challenge. However, we did go an extra step further and take some of the professionalism off and connect to have coffee talks. Maybe we talk about what's going on in our lives. Maybe there's a book that we've read. So we started up and spun up some of those groups so that we could still connect not only on a professional level, but on a personal level, and to ensure that people still had a work-life balance.
Yeah, absolutely. You said you're a mother of one, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
My grandson is with us, and over the last 2 years, a lot of people got to meet my grandson that would never have met him before, right? Because he decided to attend a few meetings.
That's right. That's right. Same for me. Everybody has probably met Christopher and my two dogs as well, which is really neat because you get a personal touch with the folks that you work with. You begin to see, not that you didn't think they were human, but you see that humanistic side to them, that they really do have a day-to-day. And this is what is ingrained not only from a Vendavo perspective, but what they do with their families. And so that's really important. And Vendavo holds that as one of their true values.
Yeah, I'm sure that my grandson has a better idea of what I do for a living than any of my children ever did, because he's been around it more, many more days at the office than
That's
before.
right. Because it looks like you're on the phone all the time, right?
Yeah,
like
exactly.
You're on the phone or you're in a meeting, and now it's like, oh, there are people on the other side and they're actually trying to do something. So that's great.
I do think you're correct, though, when you talk about, just the nonverbal communications, right?
Yes.
We don't realize, my educational background is in communicology. So I studied, all of these sort of ways to read the room.
That's right.
One of the most important ways that we don't know we're doing when we're doing it is by watching people, how they act, right?
That's right.
And their comfort, their expressions, all of those things that we do. It is difficult to sort of get that sense because we're kind of doing headshots all the time. Right. So we do, some people say as much as 90% of our communication is really nonverbal. It's an amazing number, but it really emphasizes something we lose, even with the video calls that we do today.
That's right.
It's just different.
And then, I think from a leadership perspective, our senior leadership team is very big of turning on cameras. Sometimes, there may be things, you may be in a car and you're trying to take a call, or, you're just eating and you don't want to smack in front of people. But we do pride ourselves in turning on our camera, because sometimes it's easy to hide behind that camera and have those hard conversations, or, to really engage. And so I think Vendavo has done an excellent job of turning on the camera and being present, and allowing folks to see your expressions.
We forget that phrase has meaning to me, because my friend Alex, who I've worked with for years, it was probably about 5 years ago, he started having this expression, cameras on, right? Yes. Cameras on. And so he would be in a meeting with us for whatever reason, and we didn't use it as routinely, but whenever we were, he always said cameras on. And he kind of trained the organization over a couple of period of years. Yes. So again, it wasn't a hard thing for us to do when it started. But I can't imagine if you hadn't done that previously, just am I ready? Am I good enough? Am I ready for the day? Because some people got very casual at
That's
home.
Right. That's right. Yeah. That's right. And a lot of us at Vendavo are customer facing, but it feels good to still have that routine, and to dress up for each other. And to be your personal best for each other. And so I think that's what Vendavo takes a lot of pride in.
I think
we're not only showing up for our customers, but we're showing up for ourselves.
Mm-hmm. Do you feel like there's been any sort of a downside to remote work, things that we've missed, or We talked about one just from a communications perspective, but are there other things that you think we've given up and we're looking forward to getting back?
Well, like I said, I think with the gains of communication, I think there's if there is a family that needs to take their children to school, pick them up, that is the benefit there. But I do think now that we've gotten really comfortable, you're not paying the parking, right? You're saving some money there. There's the commute that may have been an hour or so on either side of that where you could do more work. That has gotten really comfortable. And so now we're at a point where we have to drive folks to want to be in the office again. So we're doing creative things like Taco Tuesday or maybe a virtual happy hour to do that. But we're starting to see people warm up to it again. Mm-hmm. And having some workshops again. While it's not mandatory, it's encouraged just because I think people want that one-on-one connection. So for me personally, one-on-ones are done in the office because I just want to see you. I want to be next to you and be next to your presence and actually know what's going on. There's a human approach to just building relationships. You don't get that through a monitor. You don't get that through a camera. So that's the challenge, I think, is just getting back people to say, it's going to take that hour or so to come into the office, but guess what? Your day will still be productive. We want you here. And it may not be all the time anymore, Yeah,
exactly. I think that there's a lot of hybrid situations happening, but you said you build relationships with people and that's been kind of the backbone of your career, very similar for me. And so, I miss the coffee breaks.
Yes.
I miss the more casual conversations of,
that's right.
And just my whole style was sort of like, I did some of my best work while I was just walking around, right?
That's right. And it's, you're at home. And so you're starting to spend more time at home and you become like a bear hibernating. And I think one of the benefits of going into the office, one, Vendavo has a beautiful headquarters and they've worked really hard to make our space very homey and comfortable. We have various sitting areas, not just conference rooms. We have a full kitchen. We have a dining area where people can sit family style. We have talk boxes where you could be more private. So they've made it very diverse in that way, but also just getting out of your house into another location, connecting with people outside of the office, walking around downtown, getting some fresh air is being understood. And I think the thing that's going on now is expressing it's not required. And, the 9-to-5, 8-hour day is not like a hard stop. People have learned to do short bursts of energy of work during the day and get personal things done. And we trust that. So you could still have that same behavior and that same expectation at work.
Yeah, I think that's true. And it's almost like, you have to, if you want people to come to the office on a routine or regular basis, you're going to have to compete for it, right?
Yes, yes.
So you may have to sort of take a look at how can we make this a more attractive place to want to spend less time in.
That's right.
So I hadn't thought of that before, but I think you're right. That's part of it for sure.
Yes.
It can't be too much like a hospital. That will not invite.
No, we don't want to scan in badges and monitor time that people come in and out. We want it to be fluid. We want people to have work-life balance and to feel comfortable and desired.
Do you feel like there are changes the organization made that they've worked out so well that they're going to be permanently a part of the culture going forward?
Absolutely. I think again, to the pandemic, what it's forces us to look at our people and how we value our people, and how unique there are. The market is hot right now. As someone going out looking for a job, you can literally write your ticket. So what is that special sauce that's going to keep those valuable employees with you that have that subject matter expertise? Vendavo has done that very well by doing assessments for the roles that we have. They have from maturing development practices for how they develop their employees and move them up and through and parallel or horizontal in the organization. each person at Vendavo has a unique and special role in our system of practice. And I think that's what makes us very special and competitive in the market. We are in a competitive and unique space in the market. I mean, think about pricing and helping people realize their revenue across manufacturing, distribution, and all the other areas that we have. It is a unique space. And I think we're doing it very well.
That's good. So, I mean, I think that's one of the things that people are discovering is that in almost every field, it's become more competitive to find, keep, hang on to your employees. Yes. Because there is so much demand out there for them.
Yes.
Did you guys find that your turnover increased at all during the pandemic? And did you have to sort of re-emphasize recruiting in the HR department to sort of keep up and meet all the demands?
Yeah, and I don't think it's just a part of the pandemic. I think it's a part of us growing as an organization. You're always going to have folks that have decided in their life that they want to move on and do something different. We do pride ourselves in having a lot of employees that have a long tenure at Vendavo, which is great. So you want to make space for them. But I don't think there's been really a challenge in keeping folks. I think it's just a matter of preference and where you are in your life. And so as we evolve, of course, we're going to have more recruiting resources, US and our friends across the sea. And we're going to invite new ideas in space by having people that have been out in the market that could give us a different perspective and help us grow. So I think it's been all for the benefit.
You know, from your chair, have you seen, you know, when people are looking for work now, do you think they're looking at it differently? You know, just in terms of what kind of job, the environment, you know, what kind of place they want to work at in the future? Do you think that expectations have changed?
Absolutely. I think now that it has opened up the world to remote capabilities and knowing that you can have a work-life balance, people are evaluating what really works for them versus how can I get my foot in the door? Mm-hmm. It's really writing your ticket on, I want to have a job that has flexible vacation time where I don't have to get it approved. I want a smaller workspace. I want to be able to travel with my job, or I want to be able to write my own hours. I think that's becoming very important to people to say, I do want to drop my kids off. I do want to go to that soccer game. I don't want to work 60-hour weeks anymore. I don't want to stress. There is you only live once and I'm going to do it well. And it may sound selfish, but I call it self-fool behavior.
Well, and I think, you know, it's probably a byproduct to some degree of, you know, the pandemic making everybody appreciate life a little bit more.
Absolutely.
Because we missed some of it.
That's right.
And then we got other things in exchange because we were with our families more often.
That's right. And just from people getting sick and losing lives, I think people are starting to cherish those moments. And it's really nice to see our senior leadership team take that into account and to hold that as a value. They are not only speaking it, but they're actually living it themselves. You will see taking those vacations, going offline, delegating, and trusting their people to do what they need to do.
Yeah, we've even seen people like take a trip to a city over the weekend, stay a week, and work from that location, right, as an alternative, right?
That's right. I've personally taken a vacation and worked from that remote location. So there's your testimony to technology and how it's evolved over the pandemic.
And just because sometimes that was what people needed to do, was just sort of get out of the monotony of the house and into a different climate, let's say.
That's
you know, and enjoy their evenings, right, watching the sunset as opposed to not.
That's right. That's right. The unfortunate thing, though, is you have time and investment monies in spaces that you've created for your presence as a business, right?
Yeah.
So, and those aren't any small tickets. And so how do you balance that out now? You have to come up with more creative ways to get people rotated in and out and to keep your space or not. I mean, think of the places like WeWork, maybe start evolving to that, having major meetings there and maybe reserving some office space a couple of days a week versus having that that holistic space there.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of different people. We eliminated a number of offices
Yes,
because a lot of people in our consulting type work can work remote. And we
yes,
discovered we could trust them to do their work, right? So
that's
they've
right.
been just as productive, if not more so, in
That's
some
right.
ways than they were. So that's saved us, some money, obviously, that we're not doing. And then being very strategic about where we do locate offices and what their real purpose is in the future.
That's right.
I've also seen people kind of revamp their whole the internal part of their business from how many private offices do we have, what kind of meeting rooms do we have.
Yes.
One company put in a whole auditorium so they could have company-wide meetings.
Yes.
There's been a lot of those kind of thoughts, people that have combined two big facilities that were in the same city, and found out, wow, this was a lot smarter than what we used to do.
That's right.
So I still think we're going through some of that.
Yeah, I do as well. It's been interesting in our office space. A lot of our executives have their own office as a result of the pandemic, which is great. One, because they just have those critical conversations and use those. They are the ones that mostly have the one-on-ones or those critical meetings. And then we do have our big conference rooms and a couple of meeting rooms with tons of whiteboard space and interactive Zoom calling, which is great. So I think we're using our space very well. We also have some things that the desks that go up and down, so you can sit and stand up. So that keeps you fresh and new during the day. And then, like I said, the sitting spaces that actually feel like your home living room with lamps. So it's very warm and it makes you feel comfortable.
Yeah, I haven't figured out yet how to take my Zoom meetings kind of on the, I'm going to get a cup of coffee, but I'm still in the meeting, and just go to the kitchen and come back and still be on Zoom, right?
Yes.
That technology is not quite there yet, but
not there yet. Maybe with the glasses.
Maybe with the glasses. Yeah, if they ever get that to really work, that'll be good.
That's right. Yes.
I'd probably fall down the stairs, and that'd be something for everybody to see.
It's too much stimulation at one time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, have to get really used to that. Well, it's been great to just spend a few minutes with you and talk about, how you guys have handled the last couple of years and some things that you've learned. Does Vendavo have any big plans for growth, or just try to keep on the same track you are?
Absolutely. We are doing well in the market amongst our competitors. A lot of what we've been concentrating on is data. We're evolving. We are slicing and dicing data in ways that are new. We have a great commercial analytics avenue that's happening right now. Our industry best practices are guaranteeing, not only just forcing, but guaranteeing our measurable values in less than 3 months. We're growing our customers' profitability. We have internal opportunities for employees with the expansion of our business. So it's only up from here. Our products are moving to the cloud. Our customers are super excited about it. They are engaged and giving us even more ideas. So Vendavo is up.
That's great. That's wonderful to hear. Always good. Well, it's been wonderful to spend a few minutes with you. Thanks for doing this and chatting with me. I appreciate it. And I'll try to check back in with you maybe in a year or so and see how things are going.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Carl, for the opportunity.
You're welcome.